Next story is fight week related because UFC 205 is set to take place on Saturday. Francis is on a flight, I believe, tomorrow. Jason is on a red-eye on Friday night. Downloaded a couple episodes of House MD to get him through the 6-hour plane ride to John F. Kennedy Airport. Man, but I'd take him back as president at this point. It's just it's not like I'm trying. They just keep popping up. And we're going to be at the Garden. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're kind of figuring out what our plan is going to be in terms of what kind of content we're going to shoot. Obviously, in the comment section below, leave us what you'd like us to do down there.
You know, I would like you to have a full-on conversation with Conor McGregor, talk to him about the presidency. I don't think that's going to happen.
It might not, but it might.
Can we ask
I'm going to be honest. I want to talk to Wonderboy.
That'd be interesting.
Really badly. I think he'd be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of other fighters there to just watch. So my hope is that we can grab a Demetrius Johnson. Talk to him about USADA drug testing because he's the most hilarious.
Talk to him about gaming.
I would talk about gaming in a second. He's better at Dark Souls than me, which makes me mad. But Eddie Alvarez decided, yeah, I can talk trash too. I'm actually pretty good at it. And you know, here's the thing. With all due respect to every other fighter in the UFC, and again, I will always preempt this with, I'm not a fan of certain things Conor McGregor does. Everyone knows this at this point, especially if they watch this platform, this channel, this space. He is the best trash talker in the UFC. It's not even close. I mean, when you talk about the people who are really good at getting inside other people's heads, like Michael Jordan was amazing at psychologically breaking you down.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor is pretty good because he gets these responses out of people, but I think Eddie Alvarez is one of the better ones to get into that. Like Nate Diaz trash talks, but he doesn't really do it creatively. It's it's just, sometimes you don't even understand what he's trying to say. But Eddie Alvarez, here's what he had to say across 3 different quotes. Conor McGregor, this guy is so offensive-minded and ever on the defense that whatever you put on him on the defense, he gets so flustered and so upset. He continues to say, at a certain point in our press conference call, he got desperate. He started talking about my wife and kids and things like that. That is, for me, just a sign of desperation. You don't talk about another man's family unless you're like through the roof pissed off. And continues lastly, if we were in a fight and I was putting him on the defense, I looked at this like, this man is just closing his eyes, throwing bolos. Just to see him cross that, it's good. It's a good sign for me. So, again, in the press conference, which we'll throw, I guess we'll find some pieces to throw into this clip for you. I like Eddie Alvarez's, not really necessarily the trash talking, but the grin.
Yeah.
And I think there's a degree of confidence in him. I do. I don't know what's going to happen in this fight. If I'm going to predict a winner, I think I have to predict Conor McGregor because every time I don't, he wins, and every time I do, he loses. So I don't know what the hell's going to happen. However, in Eddie Alvarez's case, there's just this smile he has about him. And I think it drives Conor McGregor a little more than other fighters he's had. Nate Diaz throws water bottles at him. That creates like an actual explosion in a press conference. But Eddie Alvarez, that little grin, it's kind of annoying. It's kind of undercutting. Maybe it's triggering. I don't know. I
think in his own way, he's just literally saying that sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me.
Eddie Alvarez?
I think that's all he's saying.
That's all he's saying. He's got the belt on his shoulder. That helps.
Yeah, but no, I think in all seriousness, I think he's intelligent. You don't trade blows with Conor McGregor when you're going word for word.
Right, you're going to lose
You're going to lose.
battle.
But one thing is, I've talked about this before, he's an Irishman who's very witty. Like, these things roll off the tongue. Like, there's something different. I'm very fond of when you're insulting someone. I should do it on the field as well. I told you this when I used to insult someone. And I would call them whatever I would call them in my Scottish accent. It would sound more aggressive. I'd get really into them, and they'd turn around and be like, yeah, so's your mom. Where's your kilt? And I'd be like, I don't get it. But fine, if that's what you want.
What would you say to people?
I don't know.
Come on.
I would call them...
Wankers?
No, I don't want to go there because it could be taken offensively. Let's just say I would be very... I would be very offensive on the park at times. And I would get my point across to try and break them down mentally. Conor McGregor does it, and I think it's a smart thing. Nate Diaz, I don't even think thought about this. I think he just thought to himself, this guy's trying to insult me, fuck him. I think in a way Nate Diaz is did a very similar thing to what Eddie Alvarez is doing. Eddie Alvarez is just vocalizing that a little more clearly. He's like, I think he's desperate. I think Nate Diaz was doing the same thing. I think he was literally saying, fuck you, like I don't care about any of your words. We'll see what happens in the octagon. That's literally what Eddie Alvarez is doing. He's not doing what Jose Aldo was trying to do, which is trying to go back tit for tat and try
retire?
He was trying to hit him back with the same sort of smash, the same sort of trash talk. Same as Chad Mendes tried to do it as well. You know what I mean? And I think Donald Cerrone did it in a press conference with him. Donald Cerrone
is a good trash talker too.
So they were hitting him back, but again, it's like you don't go toe-to-toe with a guy who's a verbal gymnast.
Yeah, again, and a lot of people are going to look at this and they're going to say, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to reference this once again. They're going to say like, oh my God, Conor McGregor, all you do is talk about Conor McGregor in the trash. Like, he's good at it. It's entertaining.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
It's entertaining. Again, how many people are going to buy the pay-per-view this weekend? Everybody, which also, by the way, because I said I will not buy a pay-per-view with Conor McGregor on it to watch him fight, I'm just going to be there.
And we didn't pay for it. So
I guess I don't know what to tell
his
you.
end of the bargain.
We're really excited to be there. There's a lot of great fights in this card. Robin Black will be in with you on Monday. They're leaving me in New York to binge eat pizza, bagels, pizza and bagels, bagels and pizza. On days.
I'm gonna count how many times you're just gonna look at me in the middle of whatever we're doing and be like, "Want to get sliced?"
I can't find it because it's an old Snapchat, but every morning I'd send Francis when I was back home for Christmas last year, maybe Thanksgiving, with my breakfast sandwich, and I'd say, I'm going to do inexplicable things to this bagel.
Yeah, and I would just respond with, I just don't want to know.
You're a strange person.
Yeah, I did say that back. I was like, you're a very strange. You do know that there's a hole in that bagel, and I'm going to take that in the way that most people would. I'm going to envision you to be, what's his name from American Pie? Jim Levinstein.
Jason Biggs. Yeah. And so comment below, like, favorite, subscribe to all the videos you've seen in this segment, whichever you may call it. Send us some fun tweets when we're at UFC 205.
Oh, if you're there.
And if you're in New York City, we'll be obviously around Madison Square Garden, because that's where the fight's going to be. Send us some tweets. We'd be happy to meet you guys if you're around, and we'll come outside and give you a high five and talk about sports.
Take some pics.
Maybe eat some bagels. I'll see you next time.